A brisk fall day. There's probably no place you'd rather be than at America's National Park of Speed for the 60th anniversary running of SCCA, the Sports Car Club of America's National Championship Runoffs, presented by Sunoco at this absolutely glorious facility. We are getting ready for the run to the gold in one of my absolute favorite classes, American Sedan. I'm Greg Creamer, joined by Larry McLeod, and down in the pit lane is our Hayward Wagner. And Hayward, it's time. I got to bring this back after a lot of years for some WUMA.
WUMA indeed, Greg. I tell you, you say it's one of your favorites. I think there's only two types of people in the world: people who love American Sedan and people who aren't paying attention. These are big, fast, real race cars. Relatively speaking, skinny tires for the amount of weight and power they're carrying. I talked to the first four drivers on this field. All four of them said things like, "It's a long race. We got to take care of the car. I don't think I can run away and hide. I think we're going to have to be careful." I think every single one of them is lying through their teeth. This is going to be a bare-knuckled bar brawl, start to finish.
I wouldn't put it past them. That is absolutely right. And, you know, one of the reasons I love this class so much, Larry, is the simple reason that this, to me, is essentially what the first glory area of Trans Am was in the 66 with Parnelli and Donahue, Gurney, Savage, those guys running these cars. And it's kind of what this is. And back then, they ran this track too. Let's take a look at it. 4 miles, and it's a special place.
And this place with these cars, these big motors, going to be screaming down that front straightaway the way the world was intended to be. Down into turn one, probably going to be 3 wide on the first lap, maybe even a 4 spot somewhere. They'll go screaming down the hill from 2 into 3. That long run down the back straight under the Cheese Bridge. They'll probably come 2 or 3 wide into turn 5 on the opening lap. 5 goes uphill into the Corvette Bridge at 6, 7, 8, all the twistiest parts of the track. You're going to see these cars climbing curbs. Going to be sliding around down in through 8. The carousel is going to be great. We got some great camera shots of these cars. Trust me, you're going to see them slide into the carousel, through the kink, and then lots of passing as we get down through into turn 12. From 12, they're going to turn and start climbing back up again. The Bill Mitchell bend through 13. You're going to see cars again wheeling around, sliding through 14. And it's just going to be a draft fest on the long front straightaway. Even these big motors need a little bit of draft.
Absolutely they do. And one of the things here is this track is incredibly hard on brakes. And these cars, they use up brake in a hurry. So along with saving those tires, you probably need to be taking a little care of the brake package that you have on the car. Our coverage today is presented by Mazda, as was our track map. And we'll be right back with the run to the gold in a Sedan.
Choose joy. Choose your calling. Choose to really care. Choose to go for it. Just choose. We craft cars for those who choose to do more than simply move.
I wake up.
Okay, track day checklist. Let's go. You got your gloves, your helmet, water, snacks, sunscreen, your car is prepped and ready to go. Ugh, forgot your track day insurance, didn't you? If you want to be covered for the whole value of your car, you need high-performance driver education coverage through Hagerty. We'll get you a policy for track days, time trials, and more in less time than it took you to apply that sunscreen. Hagerty, let's drive together.
Choose to get in there. Even better, get out there. Way out there. We craft cars for those who choose to do more than simply move.
I wake up.
Welcome back, everybody. We're going to get right into the starting grid. As you can see, the cars are out on their pace lap. Tire Rack Pole Award winner is going to a 3-time champion in the category, the number 21 of Gregory Eaton out of Woodbridge, Virginia for Washington, D.C. region in his Ford Mustang. Starting second is the defending champion in the class, the number 22 of Daniel Richardson out of Durwood, Maryland, Washington, D.C. region in a Chevy Camaro. Starting into the third spot inside of row 2, number 24, Andrew McDermid, an 8-time gold medalist out of Fowlerville, Michigan in his WeatherTech Felice Performance Ford Mustang. Starting fourth, the number 51 of Amy Aquilani out of Phoenixville, Pennsylvania, and she is driving the Phoenix Performance Pontiac Firebird. Starting fifth, the rookie, the number 94, Evan Picore out of Newton, Wisconsin, Milwaukee region, the Diversion Motorsports Mustang. Starting in the sixth spot, making his second start, the number 5, Kyle Jones out of Milford, Michigan, Detroit region in the Camburn Performance Pontiac Firebird. Starting in the seventh spot, sixth start at the Runoffs, the number 14 is James Jost, gold medalist at Indianapolis at 21 in this class in the Jost Ironworks Ford Mustang. Starting in the eighth spot, making his ninth start in the Runoffs, the number 56 of Thomas West, New England region in his Limerick Machine Cadillac CTSV. Starting in the ninth spot is the number 11, making his second start at the Runoffs, Roger Eagleton out of Burlingame, California, San Francisco region in his Mustang. Starting in the 10th spot, third runoff start for the number 15 at Kyle Gilbert out of Janesville, Wisconsin, PBR region, and the Chevrolet Camaro. Starting in the 11th spot, making his fifth start, the number 2, Tom Brown. He's our Hawk Breakthrough Award winner out of Breezeport, New York, in the Watkins Glen region in the Chevrolet Camaro SS. Starting 12th, seventh start at the Runoffs for the 117 of Andy Schniedermeyer in his Chevy Camaro. Starting in the 13th spot, fourth runoff spot, for the number 6 at Tim White, Omaha, Nebraska region Ford Mustang Cobra. Starting in the 14th spot, his 12th runoff start, or hers, I should say, is Beth Aquilani, and she was fifth last year at VIR in this category out of Collingswood, New Jersey, and the Philadelphia region in her Pontiac Firebird. Starting in the 15th spot, making his fourth runoff start, the 177, Philip Waters out of Grand Prairie, Texas region in the Chevrolet Camaro. Starting in the 16th spot, a rookie, the number 10, David Henderson out of Sioux Falls, South Dakota, Land Lakes region in the 5-star towing Chevy Camaro. Starting in the 17th spot, number 3 is Kelly Lubash, and Kelly's been doing this quite a while in his Chevrolet Camaro. And starting in the 18th spot, a rookie, number 4, Doug Cross out of Brockport, New York, and getting ready to go in the Chevrolet Camaro. And when I was talking about WUMA at the top, when these guys give it a bit of welly, that's the sound that emanates. It is special, and these things, it's just a joy, and they race so incredibly hard.
They do. They all race very hard, and at the front with Eaton and Richardson, they know each other very well. They may have each talked to me a little bit about, both cars are blue and white. There may be a little bit of, they may share colors by the end of this race. They may not bring back their own paint, maybe a little bit of the others. Hopefully it's not too much. These guys do. They know they race really close. They race respectfully,
yep,
but they race hard.
Oh, they do. And that's what just makes this magic. Like I said, akin to the early glory days of Trans Am, it's American Sedan. And the Mazda Pace vehicle making its way down into pit lane and bringing the field up. Gregory Eaton going for a 4th gold medal here in the American sedan class as they climb this long hill. And watching for it. Look how close those two are at the front. The mind games playing already right now. And they waved as we go green. We are racing. What a start by Eaton. Kind of caught Richardson napping just a little bit. And that might give Andy McDermid an opportunity to come up the inside as we head down into turn 1. Big look in the back, a little bit too far back, and even McDermid at this point says, nope, not quite yet. And Amy Aquilani, who has had an absolutely fabulous year, slots into that 4th spot right where she qualified.
Yeah, she's going to be very quick all day, very consistent. Watch her. I talked to Danny a little bit ago. Danny expected maybe at the start he'd have a disadvantage for the first run down the hill. He likes his chances in a long race. He thinks the car can run almost qualifying pace for the entire 13 laps. And so it'll be interesting to see if he can. Right now, holding on a second, it's probably about as good a start as Danny could have hoped for.
Yeah, and I'll tell you what, Danny's car, when you take a look at these Mustangs, that Camaro's definitely a little slipperier.
Yes.
So, whatever draft these cars are going to have, and there's a couple of spots where they're going to punch a hole. Big battle at the back, and a big look there as well. I don't think any positions changed, but tell you what, 51 Amy Aquilani, she is under attack right now.
Yeah, Kyle Jones up in there getting pretty aggressive in his Firebird to try and get around her here early, but Amy calm and cool, keeping her spot there in fourth. But look at that little bit of separation now
Yep.
with the front three because of the battling behind her. And it's
Exactly.
going to continue.
Ooh, and a big look here again from the number 5 of Kyle Jones, and he's through. Nice move. Bit of smoke from the back of Amy's car. That didn't look like a lockup to me, but she just counterpunches, comes right down the inside, but Jones covers it up and hangs on to it, and a pretty aggressive 94 of Evan Pecore right there as well.
Yeah, look at that line of Amy going down to the carousel, just super tidy, just like her cousin Andrew does in his Mustang around here.
Yeah.
Amy just as good for car control, able to hold on through that there. Kyle Jones, very aggressive on this opening lap, picking up a couple of spots, so good start for him.
Looks like he thinks he's got a little bit more pace than where he qualified and didn't want to lose too much touch with this lead group here. And the one thing about Eaton's, and McDermid doing what Andy does, just the tail end drifting around here. And when I was talking about how hard these cars are in the brakes, before this class became a national class, it started as a regional class, and Andy McDermid was driving it. Back then, the Mustang did not have discs at that point. And I watched him. I was announcing a race. He came down into turn 5, and there was nothing home. And he literally slalomed through the tire bundles that are set up, did a snap U-turn, came flying out back on the track, lost one position, and went on to hang on to second. But he knows well the issue, but he's got some
leaves or things. It is fall out here. It's beautiful here at Road America, but there's some leaves that go down. You look at the front of McDermott's car, there's just a little bit of leaves collecting there under his radiator, so got to keep an eye on his temps. Luckily, the air temps are cool today. They may not need to be too good. It's not like one of those 90-degree days like we had back at the sprints, but perhaps that could be blocking his airflow a little bit. But look at these three just sort of settling in here early. Eaton, Richardson, and McDermid, former champs in this class, all lined up.
Well, in this class, clearly the cream has risen to the top because those top 3 cars, 12 gold medals between them. This is the gold standard right here in American Sedan right now. And I wonder, I'm watching Andy. Obviously, the car is moving around, but I think maybe he's set it up so it'll come in just a little bit later, so he's got to kind of hang on here. But I think he's just kind of maybe laying back, watching these two, and seeing if he can keep that Mustang underneath him and have something for a little later in the race. We'll find out. And Jones got in front of Amy, but he hasn't really been able to make much inroad into that group of 3 at the sharp end, has he?
No, those front 3, just in that first sector alone, almost a full second faster than Jones and Aquilane and Pecore behind him. So Eaton, Richardson, McDermott are clearly setting that pace. Their trap speed's 147 miles an hour down the back straight, which is interesting. You've got, of course, the GM, the third gen Camaro there, Richardson. You get that white Mustang and McDermott. Eaton's Mustang is, in fact, a stock Coyote, as he's gone to the limited prep motor in that car this year. He's very proud of what he's been able to do with it, and that's a big deal for a lot of these sedan cars that have come from a lot of years of building motors to the extremes. He's the exact opposite. A 50,000-mile junkyard motor he put into that thing after last year VIR. All the Mustangs were out in the first 2 laps. Big smoky blow-ups there. Wasn't good. And for Greg decided, let me try this and see if it works. And so far, it's been strong. Yeah,
he's had an absolutely fabulous year on a lot of different levels in that number 21 of his. Thinking about it, he had a win in podiums and poles in the Super Tour. He's just been really stout. Good little scrap going on here is watching there's that 94 of Evan Pecore behind Amy, but behind them, really good battle here with James Jost in the number 14 glued to the back of the 56 of Thomas West as we go back to the lead heading down into turn 1.
And then a couple little battles, obviously the front 3, but as you talked about, then you got that next 3, and then there you go. There's Jost and the Cadillac of West.
Yep, Jost getting through and making the pass. Looks like it's going to stick. So Thomas West fading back 1 spot here. And everybody, as we've come to see here, just uses every piece of that super wide curving and pavement at the exit of turn 1. And, there are those that say, it's not part of the track, it's track limits and all these things. But, Mario Andretti, I think, just put it pretty simply once. He said, if you don't want me to drive on it, don't pave it.
Exactly.
Simple deal. So
And some of these guys are calculated about how they use it. Of course, McDermid, he's more of the, I'll go right up to wherever the pavement ends and maybe a little bit beyond. But some of these guys, Richardson, one, doesn't like using a lot unless it's a paved flat piece beyond the rumbled curbing.
Yes.
So you can see what he does there at 6, but you watch him through 7, he doesn't want to get out to it. This time he does, maybe because he's trying to keep up with Eaton in front of him. But a lot of times, that car, I mean, that's now a 35-year-old chassis he's out there in that third-gen Camaro. Does not like, you see there on the exit, he's trying to keep it tidy there, wants to keep the car together. 13 laps is a long, long run here for these sedan cars, especially these older ones like his.
Yeah, and the one thing, you're right, when he does run over the curb, he's always back on the track fairly quickly, and you watch McDermid behind him. Every once in a while, he'll catch the end of that curb, and usually there's a divot there, and he just powers through. Just a couple of different driving styles here.
Oh, speaking of divots.
Way wide there. Kyle Jones really pushing hard and maybe paying the price there.
Yeah, and his tires are going to be a little bit dirty here for the kink. He's going to have to back off a little bit. Might be good for, I think it's Pecori and Aquilante now behind. Pecori's going to try to make a run to the right of Amy.
I think Amy may have checked up, seeing Kyle bounding around there through the kink, and it may have been just enough. Pecori just pounced. So Amy has dropped back now into the 6th spot after her 4th place qualifying effort. And, Thomas West, James Jost are not that far back. Jost in particular in that powder blue Mustang, once he cleared West, he's starting to make up some ground on these 3 up front really now.
Yeah, he really is. He's had a rough week, but good to see him getting that pace back on here, try to run the front 3 down. But he's going to have to go through this 3 first, because this 3 is racing very hard now with Evan and Amy and Kyle.
Yeah, McDermid just set, well, up until this lap, McDermid had the fast lap at a 2:27.1. Eaton comes through at a 2:27 flat. And here we go. Aquilani says, I'm not done yet. Takes a big peek down the inside on the 94 of Pecori, and just didn't quite have enough speed to be able to make that work.
Yeah, she just wanted to be able to see. She looks like she wants to see her normal brake mark. She wants to see the visuals here, and having that Mustang in front of her kind of blurs a little bit, so she's looking for good visibility. Now she gets that good run coming off at 3, and like she did off of 14. Maybe she'll pop out here going into 5.
Now this Moraine sweep. Whoa, speaking of which, how about McDermid diving down to the inside of Richardson, takes away 2nd spot down into turn 5.
Wow.
Both of them wagging the tail at the exit. And that, I tell you, McDermid did it. And if Richardson, could have avoided that, he might have been able to come back up the inside. But yeah, that's the one thing we've talked about. A lot of power in these engines, not really wide tires. They're a little bit under-tired, which I love.
Yeah.
So when you jump on the throttle, it's easy to get the back end to snap. Let's take another look at it, Larry.
Yeah, so again, going down the hill into 5. Now they're on the brakes. Big cars, little brakes, little tires. And McDermid, the veteran, is going to stick his nose down there. Good, fair fight there. Blocks it inside, so he's got the good exit. And Richardson nowhere to go. But both of them just wagging the tails coming out of there. It's beautiful.
Yeah, it's almost that was a tandem power drift there. You got to love it.
You ever watch drifting? It's exactly what it is.
There you go,
right?
yeah. But look what that did. Even with these McDermid running wide, drops the left, does a big wiggle through the kink, and hangs on to it. But all of this, that little bit of battling into 5 and up the hill, look what it's done for Eaton. That margin, last time by was about 0.7 of a second. It's probably a 1.5 seconds.
And really all that is, that's that turn 5 exit that these guys are side by side long enough to slow them down. They're going to have to work real hard to catch Eaton. Eaton's very consistent out in the front there. He's going to, in fact, he just reset fastest first sector, just reset fastest second sector. So Eaton is seeing the opportunity and he's seizing on it.
Yeah, he's looking in the mirrors and you see those two guys battling, and that's when you say, just go, see if I can make a break. So often in racing, the best defense is a good offense. Just get your head down and drive.
And
let's see what's that margin going to come to now. Yeah, 2.6. So it actually went up even more than I thought.
Yeah, well, he just laid down fastest lap at a 2:26.4.
Wow.
Which I believe they qualified in the 27. So
he had a 2:26.5.
Okay, so
still
under
quicker.
qualifying
Yeah.
times.
Really getting after it here. And I'm not sure, if Andy at that point said, look, I don't want to lose touch with Eaton, but the way that they race McDermid and Richardson down through 5 and everything, they may have done exactly that. Now the thing is, Larry, these two, these are big booming cars, and but if these two work together, does that give them maybe an opportunity to get to Eaton, or does Eaton right now just have the
Wow.
Richardson so close to that rear deck of McDermid under braking.
Yeah, so close. They got to within about a foot. Danny able to keep the car woeing down to stay off the back end of McDermid. But I do think if they can work together a little bit, they have a chance. Look at the slide, though, for McDermid. He has just got that car moving, and I worry a little bit about
again.
Yeah, where the tires aren't going to stay under him too much longer if he keeps sliding like this.
Yeah, when you're sideways through 7, you are pushing it because that's normally a corner you're fairly careful with, and the wind is just absolutely become fierce out here right now, and it's going to be a massive tailwind down into 5, a huge headwind up here into turn 1. And, even these big cars are going to feel that.
And you get that crosswind across 7 where that kink is, where it's going to be coming at you as you come out of 6. You got to make that turn down toward 8. You are going to feel that. It's a big, open, exposed part of the track. You're going to feel something. There's McDermid again, grabbing the dirt at the exit of the kink. He's just toying with that dirt down there. Now, a little tap of the brakes. Interesting there with right there behind him with Richardson so close. But McDermid really pushing hard right now. And I do wonder how long he can keep doing this. Whereas Richardson, I think, can run these laps. He can be consistent at this pace, and I suspect in the long run, Richardson may be thinking Andy's going to drive his tires off in front of him.
Well, McDermid has immaculate car control. I've announced him long enough that it's amazing what he can do. But as you said, when the tires go away, he might be able to control it, but it doesn't mean he's going to stay quick because the grip eventually goes off here. And one of the reasons I think we saw McDermid tap his brake is he's really been clouding curbs, and sometimes the brake pucks move away from the rotor, and you just tap it a little bit.
Oh, look at the hood.
The hood, that could be a real problem for Richardson, Larry.
Yeah, what if a hood pin or something kind of popped loose? Really got to keep an eye on that as he's running there in the baffled air behind McDermid.
Thinking about it, and he comes right back in behind. And Andy now, let's see what he does, accelerating out. Well, again, he's using every bit of racetrack he can right now, and still that car is sliding around. Sometimes you'll use all of that racetrack, and you'll actually dip a tire off here and there, but just to open the radius up so you don't slide.
Yeah, the defensive line there going into braking for McDermid. He's looking for Richardson to maybe try to make a move there. Richardson didn't seem like he wanted to. McDermid, though, protecting just in case because Andy did it to Danny in the last time by.
Up through turn 6, tricky corner this. This is where McDermid had a big slide last lap. A lot more. But he clips the curb as he turns into 7. Big time. Unloads the right side of the car. And that may have been why he snapped sideways a little bit last time. This time was better prepared for it. And it's Richardson this time with the big slide through 8.
Well, it is funny when I talk to Danny, he's like, I'm just going to run my race, stay off the curbs, keep it clean. I think that plan got thrown out the window about the third turn of this track because suddenly now in this battle with McDermid, he is just going for it on every corner right now.
You know, what's crazy here is Eaton was on pole at a 26.5. Richardson was second at a 26.6. So not that much of a difference. McDermid was a couple of seconds back.
Yeah.
So Andy's found some speed, but Eaton has too, because he is absolutely flying right now. And also got a report that the 177 of Philip Waters had a bit of a moment here. Watch this.
It's coming into
right in
14.
front of the 10 here. Ooh, yeah. Looks like he carried a little bit too much speed.
It looked like he had a little bit of a wiggle under braking coming into 14, and the way that 14 brakes, you come down a little bit of a crest out of the Bill Mitchell bend, and you have to find a braking zone deep on driver's left. And look at this. Now Richardson with a run on the front straight.
And there's that slipperiness maybe of that Camaro, and did he make that pass too soon? See if McDermid now gets a little bit of a toe and then pops out here. Look at that hood. That is really nerve-wracking if that comes up in the wrong spot and you're blinded. Both of them using all of that exit curb, but Richardson back into second. And my guess is what we were speculating about, I think McDermid's tires have maybe seen the...
Could be a little bit, yeah.
As Martin Brundle would say, have just lost interest.
Oh, no, and that's Beth Aquilante in the 58 now behind the wall.
A little bit of smoke from the back of that car we're getting reports. And there you can see that worker grabbing that yellow and red striped flag. Oh, McDermid, big plume of smoke. Down the back straight, down into the Moraine sweep into 5, and his day looks to be done.
That was big. Just at the fastest part of the track coming up underneath that Sunoco Bridge. Yeah, he's going to head to turn 5 and head back to paddock. Oh, it takes away what was such a great battle between Danny
really
and Andy.
was.
It's so rough there for the multi-time champion.
8-time gold medalist for Andrew, but that last one came a while back, and I know this is going to be gutting once again. 2016 at Mid-Ohio was his last win.
Well, while that battle had now ended, well, let's see what Danny Richardson does for the next number of laps. This battle, this is Kyle Jones, Amy Aquilante, James Jost now fighting for what's going to be the 3rd spot here.
And Jones way wide down at 5.
And then a big slide there for Jost.
I'll tell you, if Jost hadn't made way more room than he really should have, Jones didn't pay any attention coming back on the track. And that was a rough one. And then Amy right there as well.
So remember, Amy's been on the podium a couple times in this class. I think last year she was on the podium here, I believe. And, of course, Jost won this class at Indy about 3 years ago as well. So you got lots of experience back here. Kyle Jones been running this class for a long time against a bunch of folks up in the Detroit area, which includes some of the other bigger names we've got in this field. So all 3 of these very familiar. Look at the defensive line there for Jost, trying to keep Amy behind him.
There's that little puff of smoke again from Amy's car. We already saw what happened to Beth with some smoke, so got to be a little nervous about that. And, you know, if it was just Jost and Amy, that move into Canada could have been considered a move in reaction, like a little bit of a block there. Yeah. But Jost is going to say, no, I was just setting up a move on Jones. So that gives you that little bit of leeway. Right now, just to keep everybody up to date, Eaton is now up by over 10 seconds. He is just putting on an absolute thrashing of this field.
Yeah, still running 27s, essentially qualifying pace. But look at here as Jost pops out on Jones.
Well, I think Jost decided, you're going to barge back on the track like that. I'm coming through, and Jones.
He's going to race.
He's coming right back on, but can't quite even fend off Amy at this point. And I'm starting to wonder just the way that car is approaching the turns for Jones.
Yeah.
If it isn't a tire grip thing, I think it's a braking thing.
It may be. He's got a bit of a struggle there in the braking, but he's pushing so hard. He's fighting for every corner. He's having fun. He's having an absolute blast out there. Let's see if he gathers himself up a little bit here, because Amy right there, great opportunity to stay inside of Jones, who had run wide one. Amy's thinking, my race is with Jost in front of me. I'm not going to lose him.
Yep.
And so Amy doing a good job of gathering it, taking that opportunity. Now she'll try to reel the Mustang of Jost back in.
Watching that smoke, I'm wondering now if it might just be the body laying down on the tire, because it seems to be, mid corner when it's at max lean here. Speaking of which, Eaton, that thing is just on rails right now. He is just flying. And like you said, he knows. He's been on the radio. He knows that the guys behind him are struggling and dropping back. And he's still clicking off low 227s. I think he's just in a complete zone right now.
Yes, he is. Yeah, you get into that groove. You don't. At one point when they say you're up 10 seconds, your crew guy tells you, okay, I'm just going to put not cruise control. You start putting it into corner by corner, hit your marks mode. You just get into that mental state of, I don't have to worry about anybody coming up behind me. I just need to hit the next mark. And he's doing a great job of that right now, running consistent pace. Richardson now is kind of in the same mode. He's also trying to just put it into a click and go and see what happens. He's obviously been in this position before a number of times and knows that attrition plays. Danny knows if he can bring this thing home, potentially another podium for him. You never know what happens out front. But look at this. Amy Aqualante's rolled into Jost now.
Yeah, he'd opened up a little bit of a lead, and she has tracked it down, and there is Kyle Jones.
Ooh, he hit the wall at some point. He's got some damage on his left rear. He's trying to get off there and get behind the wall.
Yeah, that tire is the wheel is
that's down at the exit of the carousel just before kink.
I wonder if he just did the classic, ran wide and did a tank slapper and just couldn't save it. That's a shame.
That'll be a local yellow down there coming off of the carousel. But he is pretty far to driver's right. Which way is he going to go? We're going to have to see.
Well, he's going to try and at least get it going here. Again, out of Milford, Michigan, runs out of the Detroit region. That's the Camburn Performance Engines by JB Firebird. Let's see if we can figure out exactly what happened here.
So you see him, coming out of the carousel. Looks like he might have gone too far left. He catches that dirt on the exit and then likely hooked back to the inside and hit that left rear into the wall on the right side. And now he's stopped after the kink on track right.
All right, so We are working lap 9 of 13, eaten up by 12.5 seconds last time through. Richardson at this stage, a very lonely second place. Like I said, 12 behind Eaton and about the same in front of Jost. Jost Aquilani still having a good scrap. And then Thomas West in that black Cadillac and Evan Pecore are having a really good scrap for that last place in the top 5, too.
Yeah, that's just great to see. That Cadillac, bit of a unique machine around these parts.
Yes,
but it is
is
so cool. Makes great noises for Thomas West. He's been at it in this class for a long time. And so are we going to go to full course?
We have, it looks. Yep, full course. And I was wondering because Eaton suddenly just eased around the carousel. And you can see there's a fair plume of dust coming off Eaton's tires.
Yeah.
Now, he wasn't on the line. He was right down the middle, which is as he exited. There's a look at our Cadillac CTSV out of Standish, Maine for the 56 of Thomas West.
Very cool car. The noises out of that big GM motor just are fantastic. Look, he's got a lot of leaves collecting under his radiator inlet as well.
Well, you know, all the way down the Moraine Sweep, and even worse, once you turn into the kink, all the way down to Canada Corner, leaves gather and billow and move around down there a lot. And you're so right about the sounds out of West Cadillac. You know, you think about in the SCCA World Challenge when it was back in the GT days, pre-GT3 cars, and the V8s in those Cadillac. I remember announcing the World Challenge at Circuit of the Americas the year that the Aussie V8 supercars showed up.
Yeah.
And the mechanics working in the supercar, the V8 supercar garages, when World Challenge GT came out, they would go to the wall just to hear those V8s go by. It's a great sound, no question about it.
All right, so we've got our Mazda pace car out there gathering the field. As you can see them right there going down the front straight right now. We'll see how long it takes to gather the field and how quickly the Road America crew can get the car extracted there from the side of the track down just past the kink. It looks like they're on site already, so hope that that's quick.
And that is not tire rub for Aquilani's car. Under caution, she just was easing through 14, and there was that little puff of smoke. So they're going to be concerned about that. Here's the question. You know, you take a look at best laps. Richardson has faded a little bit. Jost was 12 to 13 seconds adrift, running very similar lap times, though.
Yeah.
So opportunity here maybe for Jost to get something going here and maybe improve on a potential podium.
He's the one that would worry me the most. Yeah,
exactly.
If I'm Eaton out in front, you know that you believe that you've got pace on Richardson. You're able to pull ahead of him at early stages. You think you could do it again. But Jost has had a bit of a rough week. Had some issues getting good lap times down in the qualifying sessions. So he's thinking opportunities here. He's in a provisional podium spot now, but the win is just 2 spots away. If he can somehow get up there in what may be a 2 or 3 lap shootout, depending on how quickly we can get that car out of that spot.
It's both Ford Mustang GTs, so it depends. I'm not sure on the what the engine prep is in Joe's car, but we'll see how it plays out when we come back here to America's National Park of Speed. Welcome back, everybody. If you stayed and watched that commercial, at one point you saw a picture of a number of corner workers, and right in the middle, a lady with some sort of reddish hair. And I'll tell you what, special night for her last night. She is the head of flagging and communications for Milwaukee region, and that's Nikki Preventis, and she got Worker of the Year award for flagging and communications. Great party last night down in the RA Center where they awarded Worker of the Year for all of the various specialties that take part. And there's a ton of them here. We try and list them all. And
love those moments of recognition for the people that do work.
It's their
so
national
hard.
championship too, right?
Yeah, they work hard all year long at every race. They get to come here and demonstrate their skills and be a part of this and to contribute so well that they deserve their recognition. Those people they just work their tails off.
They do. And a special award given to Deanna Flanagan, who is served marvelously as the head of club racing for a long time. She's moving to another position within SCCA, and so Eric Prill presented her with a very special award to acknowledge her great work with the SCCA road racing department and working with the Summit road racing program as a whole, which includes the Hoosier Super Tour and the majors and the whole thing, and of course the runoffs here as well.
Yeah, and actually the award was kind of re-presented to Deanna last night. It actually was presented shockingly to her on the prior night down there when the band, the Back Rows, is playing. Eric Prill, of course, part of that band, and in the middle of the set takes a bit of a break and presents her award that she was shocked by, and that was a great moment as well. Besides, the band was pretty darn good too.
That's what I heard.
Yeah, they were great.
I missed it. I'm kicking myself for that.
They could rock. It was awesome.
Yeah. Well, Eric is a multi-talented gent.
He's got lots of talent.
Not a bad shoe behind the wheel.
He's a pretty good administrator of race stuff. You know what? He can wheel pretty well too, with a couple of gold medals and up there playing guitar, lead singing. Oh, it was great.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to catch that sometime. Make a special trip out to Topeka.
Yeah.
Catch them when they're playing there at some point. So working lap 10 now of 13, and still trying to get that car moved here. The one thing is anybody that's out there, perhaps like a Daniel Richardson, who might have been having a little bit of brake fade, gives them a chance to maybe bring them back just a little bit here, and we'll see what's going to happen. And Eaton has to be absolutely beside himself in a way that he worked and pushed, but was really smooth and fast doing it to build a 12-plus second lead, and a caution comes out and it just evaporates. But you also then have the confidence that to know that I was running laps 2 to 3 seconds quicker than everybody else. I just have to put my head back down, as you said, hit your marks, do exactly what you were doing, and be good. But I can't wait to see what might happen between Richardson, Yost, and Aquilani.
Yes, I think that's going to be fascinating. Amy's traditionally a bit on the conservative side, kind of waits for the race to come to her. But now if we do get back to green, could be a sprint opportunity. Let's see if she's able to stick to the back of Yost and challenge him, maybe even then the two of them with Richardson in front. I think it's because we're thinking Eaton's going to be able to pull back away again, but I'm not so sure. The way that Jost was running since this thing went green and having to go through the traffic as he did, I like his chances to be able to pressure Richardson and Eaton out in front of him. This, if we can get to a restart here with 2 to go, I think that would be a fascinating race. See if one Mustang can catch the other, or do the third and fourth gens have a chance.
That's a good point. And the other thing, keep an eye on Evan Pecore, who's 6th right now, and of course right behind Thomas West in the Cadillac. Pecore in another dark blue Ford Mustang. His best lap was about 0.8 quicker than Thomas West's, but as the race went on, West was able to get in front of him, which usually tells you that maybe something on the Mustang was fading just a little bit. So he might, we might see a fun battle here for that 5th spot as well. Again, this is all presuming that we go back to green.
Yeah, and down the order, some of the battles that are kind of fun to watch is you got Andy Schneidermeyer there in the 117 and his buddy Tim White. They're paddocked together. Well, out on track, they are nose to tail with each other. And so these good buddies are probably going to be kind of winking at each other as they go green next if we can get to it. And see what kind of battle within the battle, even if it's down the order, the fun is no less for sure.
Looks like that pace maybe is picking up just a little bit here, and I'm trying to be the optimist here. I want to see this one go back to green.
And I keep peeking over. We've got a Flagstronics monitor, so the folks that are maybe watching this racing coverage, we're on our qualifying coverage Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. We had the Flagstronics screen that shows you a GPS of all the cars that are on the track, and I can see where the services vehicle is next to the Jones car down there just past the kink, and I don't know that it's moving yet. Maybe having trouble moving because normally they would be able to either lift it. They may have to get a flat for that because the rear left is pretty well hit.
Yeah, it was. And we know, of course, that Jones was trying to help, trying to get it to a spot where he could, pull it in and park it. And where he was might have been able to get away with it when it first stopped. You don't know, but he was trying to help. We understand that, and we respect that certainly. So.
Yeah, he was in that spot before the kink, and maybe he was thinking, he probably didn't realize his left rear was completely flat at that point. Maybe thought he was stuck in some dirt. Thought, well, if I get back out of this, maybe I can run down to an opening in the wall somewhere. Unfortunately, he got just past the kink and realized there is no opening to reach down that area to get a car through. So it's kind of how we got to the position we're in. They have moved the car, so we're going to see the Mazda leading all these sedan cars down around the kink, and it looks like they have moved past now, and they are down around Canada at this point. So let's see. Fingers crossed that we can get to green flag racing.
And the thing in Canada, if you go straight off and hang a hard left, there's a big area to tuck cars. So we could potentially get 2 laps here.
They are, I think they're going to head to the cutoff track just after Bill Mitchell
13?
Bend.
Okay.
Yeah.
That works. That's probably a much easier one ultimately.
Yeah. I think they're going to get there
Lights are
before
off.
the field. This
Lights
is great.
are off.
Yes. Still a little smoke coming out of the back of Amy Aquilante, though, right here. You can just see a little puff there.
Yeah.
We're going to keep an eye on that. I'm sure.
That almost looks like it's diff or something, doesn't it?
Maybe. I'm sure the Phoenix gang's a little bit nervous over there every time we talk about it. Sorry, guys. It's interesting. We got to talk, even if it even if you cringe.
Yeah, well, we see it. And, you always got to be concerned because Beth Aquilani, when she stopped, it was a lot of smoke. So, and that same type of car, same prep program and everything, so we'll see.
Yeah, the Phoenix team worked so hard on those cars.
Absolutely
They're meticulous,
the best.
every single one of them. Earlier in the week, Beth had an issue, kept throwing belts on that thing, and they kept having to go out, hardship, put a belt on, belt would throw. Not sure if that was her issue still today, but we're going to go green here, and let's hope that we have good green flag racing for 2 times around.
Yeah, that's 8 miles here at Road America. That beautiful Mazda Pace vehicle going to be ducking into pit lane, and Greg Eaton is going to lead him up the hill with a hungry Daniel Richardson. James Jost going to be right there. Jost won at Indy in 2021. So he's somebody that certainly would be interested in grabbing a second one. Richardson, the defending champion.
Yeah.
So would like to go 2 for 2. Let's see what happens.
Remember, Richardson was slow on the original race start. Let's see if he can do better here on this restart.
And, of course, Eaton would like to win a 4th gold. Here we go, up the hill. Wait for it. We're green! We are racing, and again, Eaton got a nice jump, but it was Yost who looked like he got caught napping, and that, of course, has slowed up Amy Aquilani as well.
Yeah, Amy's going to try and pressure. Let's see if she pops and tries to go to the inside here.
She is! Late move on the brakes by Amy Aquilani down into turn 1. Yost gives her the room. Amy's got the inside on the exit. Yost drops the tire just a little bit. You can see that little shimmy there. And now turns in, does Amy, with Yost in second. That was a great restart by Amy, taking advantage of Yost not quite being on it. And now, can Yost get through? Can Amy and Yost work together to get up to Eaton and Richardson?
Yost
Here
is
we
going to
go.
get aggressive. Look at him already. They're not even past the bridge, and he's looking, and Amy's defending.
All right, you can see Eaton worried here, right down the middle of the track, into 5, trying to dissuade Daniel Richardson from trying anything here. And here we go, and it is still West in the Cadillac. He actually got the better start, and Pecori has dropped off just a bit here, as we now have a lap and 2/3 to go.
Yeah, look at this advantage, though, for Eaton. Just since turn 5, he looks a little better digging out of 5 and through 6 than Richardson behind him. But we'll see how they are through the carousel here and see if Richardson can reel him back in before they get down to Cannon Corner.
Ooh, Richardson, big lurid slide. He is giving it everything right now. Here's that long run, the carousel, about, 210 degrees? It just goes forever, so it doesn't feel like it.
Danny's got a great run going on.
he does.
Good turn in. He's got good grip. Look at the pressure for Eaton. He's actually dragging a tire a little bit on the exit of that. Richardson may have an opportunity here, as does Jost.
Jost looking at coming after Aquilani, looking pretty solid here. But Richardson, that slippery Camaro, right behind Eaton as they head down into Canada Corner. He pops to the inside. Richardson inside, but Eaton a little bit better on the brakes, runs a little bit deeper into the corner, keeps it on the track, and Eaton continues to lead. And Aquilani was able to fend off Yost as well in that battle for 3rd. And here we go. Larry coming up last time to start the final lap. up this long hill. You got to get a really good run out of 14 and climb that hill. Let's see, did Richardson get enough of a run where he's going to be able to use a little toe here and come through? Eaton looks like he's easing away.
Eaton's got a good motor. That thing is pulling. It may be a stock motor, but it is a strong coyote in that thing, and that's right now working his advantage. But what about behind him?
Yost looks this time to repay the favor on Aquilani. Pops to the inside. Is Amy going to try and round him up? Nope. She's going to let him go. Maybe watch for her to square up and come down underneath. She uses a little S-track. Ooh, Richardson showing the nose. He sort of looked again, didn't he?
Yeah, he did. Richardson definitely likes that part of the track, but now he's going to try and tuck under the back of Eaton.
Oh, did he get a nice
straight.
run?
Yeah.
This might be a spot for Richardson here. He really got out of 3 well. Showed that nose, got Eaton to defend just a little bit, and then opened up and went for it here. But look at again, Eaton protecting right down the middle of the track. Totally legal. You can put your car anywhere you want as the leader in a battle. You just can't make more than one move. In other words, you can't move in reaction to somebody.
Yeah, so again, looks like Eaton gets a pretty good dig out of 5. Throws the car, good grip here through 6. Richardson, though, was pretty quick coming off 8 in carousel last time. He's going to have to get a great one, and he's going to have to get a good run to the kink to get a better job on the brakes into Canada. That's how all this is going to set up. He didn't quite have the ability to outbrake him into Canada, and that's where Eaton was able to hang on. Let's see if Richardson can do it a little bit better the last time around.
Yeah, he really needs to. I hate to say it, but I don't know that he's close enough. But he's really picking some steam up here. Yost has solidified his hold on 3rd a little bit over Aquilani. And just so you know, the Cadillac West has gapped Picore pretty well. So we'll keep an eye on that. Here we go, through the kink one last time. Eaton on rails, using up every bit of racetrack, throwing up some dust. Richardson tracking him through. It's another car that's off back there as well. Might be the 117. We won't. We can't confirm that. Here we go. Last time into Canada. Hard on the brakes. Eaton under great control. Richardson throwing the Camaro win here. And watching to see, is it still? It is. Yost with Aquilani in tow up through Billy Mitchell. Turn 13. And last time through the absolutely crucial 14. You just want to get a great drive out of here, Larry.
You're trying. Richardson's giving it all he has, but right now Eaton is just so precise. The car is working perfectly for Eaton.
Eaton climbing the hill, and it will be gold number 4. What a run for Gregory Eaton. Daniel Richardson, defending champion, brings home a silver medal this time. James Yost comes home with the bronze. Aquilani a scrappy 4th, and Thomas West in the Cadillac completes the top 5. I am so glad we went back to green. That was a finish right there, and there's still some people out there really scrapping it right now. The number 6 at Tim White and that old John Wire Automotive liveried Mustang. Right behind him, climbing the hill, David Henderson in that black Camaro. And that is the battle unfolding right now for 8th and 9th. And you can see a little bit of room there. And then I think it's going to be the number 3 of Kelly Lubash right there, flashing through in that yellow Camaro. But Eaton, man, what a run he has had here in American Sedan in the last few years. Didn't get it last year, but gets his 4th today.
He was looking for some redemption after the way things went last year and that first lap blow up that he had. And I tell you, he could have been more proud that he's going to do this on essentially a stock powertrain in this car.
Yep.
He's happy that this worked. It sends a message to everyone else that, you know what, you can build a sedan car using a junkyard motor. You don't have to spend tons of dollars to get going. Nothing in motorsports is cheap, but you can do it reasonably. And for Eaton, that's got to feel like a massive relief for somebody who operates out of his 2-car garage at home. He doesn't have a big shop. He's got nothing else to support him. It's the satisfaction to go from a blown motor a year ago to pole and win this year. It's just got to be unparalleled.
Well, and the other part of it too is, you can have all of those components, but if you don't have a wheelman, and that's one thing Gregory Eaton can do. Just watching how he drove, and obviously, their setup changes, the cars are different, but you rarely saw him throwing it around very much. He just, and the smoother you can be, the less scrub you get, which robs speed. That takes less of a toll on tires. everything, and he was just glass smooth.
And you look at the way that he and Danny, when they were side by side, left exactly enough room for each other.
Yep.
Danny made that lunge there in the second to last lap to go into Canada corner. Greg left him the room on the inside, outbrake him a little bit, coming around the apex and out. No contact. Beautiful racing for both Greg and for Danny. Those guys are going to go and probably have a beer. Looks like that car against the wall on the right. I think that's the 177 of Philip Waters down there.
He had that off earlier, remember, when he ran wide as well?
Yeah.
So he may have been fighting something,
He
clearly.
may have had. The other one, the 117 of Schneidermeyer, I think he's down in turn 3 off somewhere. May have had a mechanical issue in his. But the front two, Eaton and Richardson, great show. Jost, what a great run through the field to come up and end up on the podium.
I think he's the early candidate here for the Sunoco Hard Charger Award because he qualified, started in the 7th spot, and ends up on the podium. And you can see his hand's been out the window waving fervently to all of the corner workers and fans out there. I think he's going to relish this one.
Yeah, no, that'll be a fun. These guys are all great guys. These interviews are going to be pretty special. We know Danny Richardson last year when he won had the greatest interview ever. I'm convinced it was the best. Here on the second place, let's hear what he's going to have to say. But I'm sure Eaton, it's going to be a lot of relief on his face. And for Jost, he's going to be jumping for joy.
Absolutely. And Amy Aquilani, what a great drive.
Yeah.
She was just scrapping in a car that maybe wasn't completely healthy. It didn't look like it hurt her too much in terms of speed, but all those little puffs of smoke,
I'm sure the team was telling her about Beth's issues as well, so that gets in your head. And for Amy, a great job here to come in 4th.
And the other impressive run here was Thomas West. We had talked about how Pecore had actually been quicker before the caution came out, so we were thinking Pecore could have maybe jumped in front of West. West dropped the hammer and actually set on the last lap. He set a lap that was only 4/10 off of his best lap of the race, and Pecore was a couple of seconds off of his best lap, and that's what sealed it for Thomas West. So a great drive for him too.
Yeah, look at this. The sense of relief, the sense of just personal satisfaction with all this work. It's just got to be oozing right now through that helmet.
You betcha. And this track, one thing about this place is, it's magnificent, but it's fast. And these cars are fast. And so this is
so much fun to watch. Watch these guys wheel these women and men wheel these cars around. It is just spectacular.
It really is. It really is. All right, there goes the gold medal. And that, of course, is now his 4th. Going around the neck of one Gregory Eaton, there is the Hoosier necklace. And a little bit of water, and Hayward, take it away.
Greg, it's one thing to put a gap on the American Sedan field once. How does it feel to do it twice?
It feels great. Tremendous amount of work done to this car in the last 365 days. We had a really poor showing last year. Really kind of was a thorn in my side all winter. And it really pushed us to change our whole combination. This engine in this car is out of a junkyard. Like, it's awesome. 50,000 mile engine. I haven't even changed the spark plugs in it. It's unreal. But, and it runs good. It's a little slow on the straights sometimes, but I mean, well, what a joy to drive. I haven't even changed the oil in two races. So,
talk about the emotion of seeing the full course caution, having to regather yourself, and then looking beside you and seeing the Camaro coming down to the Canada corner. What was that moment like for you as a driver?
Well, I was hyper aware of what was going on, and I told myself before the start of this that I was going to make sure I ran the best 13 laps I'd ever run in my life. So I did 12 of them because that next one out, I blew one of the corners, and I dropped the wheel out on the kink, and luckily that's a tight spot. I had to protect a little bit to the center of the track there, and then once we got going, I don't know if it was temperature in the tire or what. But after that, it kind of came back to me. So maybe it just fogged me out for a sec or a little tire. I guess I'll blame both.
Well, congratulations. I believe this is your 4th gold medal. A huge redemption from last year. Do enjoy this victory lap.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate it, man. Thanks, guys.
Soft-spoken, but an absolute gun behind the wheel. Beautiful job. Let's take a look at our top 10 provisionally here. It is Eaton with that 4th gold medal. Daniel Richardson comes home with a 2nd place. And, of course, he was the defending champ. James Jost, a former champion, earns another medal. And that will have him on the podium. Amy Aquilani, a great run to 4th, and Thomas West, just a great last couple of laps to fend off and open it up over Pecori in 5th. Then Roger Eagleton in 7th, Tim White in 8th, David Henderson in 9th, and as we saw, that bright yellow machine of Kelly Lubaj coming through and claiming that 10th spot.
After the race, Eaton was disqualified from first place. This moved Daniel Richardson to first, James Jost to second, and Amy Aquilani to third.
Let's get right back down to Hayward with our second and third place finishers, Daniel Richardson, James Jost.
Danny is silver here at the Runoffs, but much more importantly, how are your kids?
My kids are awesome. I want everyone to know they're absolute angels, and for legal purposes, I love all 3 of them. It was a great race. I missed a shift going down the second straight after 3, and then Andy got by, and it took me a minute to get by Andy. And I used a lot of car to try and get around Andy, and until the yellow came out, I figured there's no chance I'm catching Greg. And then came back up. I was able to cool things down under the cautions, and I tried to stick it in there a couple times. It just, I don't have as much power as a lot of the other guys, but braking and handling, I tried to go in deep and just couldn't make it stick. Greg did a great job, a hell of a race, and you can't complain about what we did today.
Well, huge congratulations on the silver. Guys, you were talking about the community with American Sedan. Danny was coaching Greg's crew on how to get more people in the car for the victory lap right before we did that interview. We got Jim Yost here. Jim, you had a great drive through the field to come to this podium. How was it for you?
It was awesome. It was a really good race. I saw those guys up ahead. I thought, man, we might get a chance at this, but we just day late and $1 short like normal. We struggled all week. Wouldn't be for my crew, Mikey and Lee, we wouldn't have never been here.
Well, big congratulations on the bronze.
Thank you very much.
All right, what a race. As we said, 7th to 3rd, I should say. That might well be. And Eaton, look at Richardson going, is this really silver? All right, let's take a look at some highlights, and there were a few here to be sure. At the start, Eaton, you looked at me at one point and you said, are they waving at each other? And, maybe that's why Richardson lost a little bit, but we had seen McDermid go to the front, and then Richardson, just this absolutely great pass. Then McDermid, plume of smoke out of the back. His day was done.
Yeah, that was unfortunate. That was queuing up to be a great one. Tough way to go out there for him, and then a really tough way here for Jones as well. Kind of led to that full course caution that came out, which gave us a restart, gave us some excitement there on the restart with Eaton and Richardson coming down there into Canada. That restart, though, Eaton was just so good.
Yeah, and you can see in the back there a couple of cars kind of overrunning things. But here was that battle with Amy Aquilani pouncing and sneaking through on James Jost. And then he came back and took that back. But you see Richardson there looking to the outside into turn 1. He had some speed early on in that and actually got up alongside at one point. But at the end, he just had enough. Takes that 4th gold with Richardson 2nd and James Jost 3rd. And I'll tell you, you win a 4th gold, it's great. You win it at Road America, it's even better. Big thanks, as always, to Mazda for presenting our broadcast. I'm Greg Creamer, and for Larry and for Hayward. Thank you so much for joining us for the Run to the Gold in American Sedan at the 60th running of the Sports Car Club of America's National Championship Runoffs.
Choose joy. Choose the road. Choose your people. Choose your shot. Take it. Choose to get in there. Even better, get out there. That's it. Way out there. Choose your calling. Choose to really care. Choose to go for it. Just choose. We craft cars for those who choose to do more than simply move.
I wake up.